What if Disney's princesses could turn into the characters from Sailor Moon? We are going to transform Disney's Rapunzel into Sailor Moon using acrylic paint, fabric, ribbon, a gold-colored ring from a gumball machine, pens, rubber bands, a needle and thread, buttons, acrylic jewels, velcro, fabric glue, scratch paper, and nylon hair from dollyhair.com. I start by sketching out a triangle on a piece of sketch paper. Cut it out, leaving a seam allowance. Use it as a pattern to cut 4 out of fabric. Cut 2 strips of fabric. Cut a long rectangle of fabric. Since my fabric is thin, I am going to double it up. I make sure it can fit around the doll's waist with about an inch overlap. Once all the pieces have been cut, take the long strips. Using a needle and thread or a sewing machine, I sew a zigzag stitch along the edge to prevent it from fraying. Fold the sides over and iron in place. Sew a straight line along the edge to hold it in place. Make a small pleat at one end. Place the pleat at the top of the triangle. Place another triangle on top. Use a needle and thread to hold it in place. Sew along the 2 sides of the triangle. Flip it right side out. Repeat to make 2. I take the long rectangle that fits around the doll's waist. Now mine is folded because my fabric is thin. I ironed it flat to make a crease across the top. Then I open it. With the good side facing down, I overlap the triangles just past the crease. Sew a straight line across. Then turn it over so the good side is facing up and sew a straight line across the top. However, if the material did not need to be doubled, I would overlap the triangles, laying them at the edge. Sew a straight line all the way across, then flip them, making a clean edge across the top, followed by a straight line all the way across. Fit it around the doll, cut a piece of velcro, pull the sides apart, sew one on top of the fabric, fold the other side over, and sew on the other side of the velcro, making sure the velcro does not go past her waist. After I'm sure that it can close, place it inside out on the doll. Pin the straps in place, sew them in place, place it back on the doll inside out, and pinch the sides. Use a pencil to trace the doll's side, fold it over, sew on the line drawn, cut a long strip of fabric, fold up and hem the bottom with a straight stitch going across, fold the strip into pleats. I use an iron to make the pleats hold their shape. With the top on inside out, I lightly sketch the doll's waistline. Remove it from the doll, then lay it with the good side facing up. Take the pleats and lay them with the good side facing down, and use pins to hold it in place just above the line drawn. Sew on the line drawn, trim off the excess, make a small cut at the peak, flip it right side out, try it on the doll, making necessary adjustments if needed. Cut 2 rectangles of fabric, stack them, sketch out a place for the neck and slanted sides. Sew on the lines drawn, leaving the ends open. Trim off the excess, making small cuts around the curve. Flip it inside out, using the end of a paintbrush for some of the hard to reach areas. Fold the bottom in, stitch straight across to close it. Stitch ribbon around the edge. Use ribbon to make a bow. Cut small squares of velcro. Sew or glue them to the ends of the collar. Glue the opposite ends behind the bow. Glue another one behind the knot, with the opposite in the center of the top. Then velcro one side of the collar to the bow. Place the collar around the doll's neck, attaching the other side. Then attach it in the center. Then glue a button on top. Take a piece of white fabric, sew a red ribbon across the top, then fold it over and sew it in place. With the good side on the inside, I wrap it around the doll's arm, trace around the doll's hand, sew on the line drawn, trim off the excess, turn it inside out, make a few stitches near the thumb to make gloves. Repeat for the legs to make boots. Sew or glue on a little ribbon at the top of the skirt. Add another bow in back. Rapunzel has long blonde hair. However, we would like it a little more yellow. So we carefully remove the head, remove the hair. We rerouted it with a brighter yellow. We repainted her eyes blue. To do her hair, I pull a few strands down in the front, run a little hot water over them to help hold them down, part the remaining hair and make 2 ponytails, sew a button onto a rubber band, then glue an acrylic jewel on top of the button, place them around the ponytails, trim her bangs, take a gold-colored ring from a gumball machine, open it up. For the tiara, tie a piece of ribbon around her neck to create our interpretation of Rapunzel Moon. And you're done.
Happy crafting!
Rapunzel! Mother could use a little song.
Sorry, Mother Gothel, but I am no longer your personal fountain of youth. I am Rapunzel Moon! And we want to give a shout out to Emma Batgirl. What's up? Golden Sun Hair Power! Well, that didn't go as planned.